11 people barricaded inside a farmhouse, shooting at creatures through the window all night long. And when the police finally showed up in the morning, they found something in the yard that they couldn't explain. All right, guys, buckle up. This one's crazy. It was a normal evening at a farmhouse sitting between the towns of Kelly and Hopkinsville in rural Kentucky. There were 2 families in this house at the time. The Suttons, who owned the house, they had invited another family for dinner. So in total, there were 8 adults and 3 children. For a while, it was just a regular night, food on the table, a great conversation. So one of the guests, a man named Billy Taylor, steps outside. And then he stops because he sees something streaking across the sky. It was fast but silent, and then it dropped, and it appeared to have fallen into a field about half a mile away. So he watches this thing fall, and he runs in the house to tell everybody what he just saw. But they just laughed. They were kind of making fun of him, saying, "Nobody wants to hear about flying saucers at the dinner table. Just sit down." So they all brushed it off and went back to their conversations. About an hour passes, and then the dog started to bark. But he was acting in a way that was really unlike him. Not the kind of barking where he senses an animal or something outside. I mean, this dog was freaking out, like frantic, almost scared. So several of the men stand up to go outside to check out the situation. So the dog bolts past them and just takes off. And they did not see this dog for the rest of the night. Then they quickly saw why. Coming out of the tree line was a creature. This thing was like 2 to 3 feet long with gray skin and limbs that were too long for its body, its arms even dragging on the ground. It had pointed ears and eyes that glowed yellow, and it just stared at them with this glazed, expressionless look. And one of the men raised his shot gun and fired at this thing point blank. So when it was hit, this sound like a metallic pa-ting fired off, and this thing got knocked over, and then it stood back up and kept coming. So they retreated into the house, armed themselves fully, and that's when it got worse. Because there wasn't just one. Over the next half an hour, multiple creatures emerged, and they were all in the windows and trying to get in the doors and scratching at the glass. And every time they appeared, the men fired at them, and that same metallic pa-ting, they'd fall over and get back up and keep on coming. The women pulled the children to the center of the house, and everybody just stood their guard. Nobody slept at all. They just kept watching the windows, waiting for the glass to break. And then Billy steps out onto the porch. Of course he did. Guys, something reached down from the overhang and grabbed him by the head. His wife screams and pulls him back inside by the arms, and luckily he made it. So they hold these things off from dusk until the sun came up. And the moment that the light hit, the creatures were gone, just vanished. And when it appeared safe, they drove straight down to the Hopkinsville police station. Now, mind you, this was August of 1955, so that is why they did not call the police ahead of time. So they go down and they report everything. And the police didn't dismiss them. They did come over to check out the property. And when they got there, near where a lot of the firing took place, they found in the soil a patch of it was glowing. It was luminescent and with no explanation. There weren't any chemicals that they could tell and no natural cause that they could identify. The U.S. Air Force also came to investigate, and then their conclusion was no explanation. Keep in mind, this was decades before most people were speaking about UFOs publicly. This was before alien encounters were a pop culture phenomenon, before anyone had a real reason to make it up or framework to pull it from. Just 11 people in rural Kentucky barricaded in a farmhouse fighting off creatures. You can't make this stuff up. The case is officially unsolved, and the family never changed their story. And still nobody knows what that glowing patch of soil was in the yard. All right, y'all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love a good alien UFO story. And as always, if you're new here, you gotta follow for more creepy story time.